Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Mind of Moon Dog. In today's video, it's going to be a very touchy one. And I'm going to put a disclaimer out there right now that this one involves an individual that went into early life retirement, if you know what I'm talking about. Now, before I start this video, let me preface this by saying this all revolves around a subject matter that I have always had an issue with as a man and as a father, which is child support. Now, thankfully, I've never had to go through the courts for any of this. My mother's child has been great to work with, and we have a great co-parenting situation. I understand that this isn't the experience for a lot of other people, but there's no question that as a man, and as a matter of fact, that we have it terribly bad in two areas in the law, and that is in child support court and in divorce courts. Men have it disproportionately worse. Women get the benefits in these two areas, and it hurts to see a lot of good men that are kept away from their kids, even when they want to be involved. They want to be more than just a child support paycheck father. They want to see their kids and be around their kids and have that experience with them, and they're being prevented by the mother, whether it's out of anger, spite, out of being vindictive, bitter, any of these kinds of things. They're not allowed to see their child. And when you talk about going through the child support system, it makes it hard because men, we don't get a fair shake in child support court and in divorce court. So that's the topic for today. The caption here says parents on child support need help too. We struggling. So take a look. This is very emotional. I know I got choked up a little bit when I first saw this. So let's go through it.
I want to talk about something, and I might get a lot of heat for this shit. So one of my closest friends just committed suicide last night. He just came home from jail maybe a month and a half ago. Why he was in jail? Because he was late paying his child support.
It's wild to me that if you don't pay child support, you get thrown in jail. How does that, first of all, help the situation in any way, shape, or form? That is terrible. And specifically, when we're talking about someone that is attempting to provide, but we all know how tough it is out here for the everyday person to find work, to keep up their own living, let alone have to pay what the court deemed is necessary for child support. It's not like they don't want to, but they're not in the right situation to do it. And so the resolution to this is to then throw you in jail, where then for a fact you can't pay anything. And now you're keeping the father away from the children. They're locked up. You're making them into a criminal. You're setting them back, because how hard is it going to be for them to find a job after they've been arrested and gone to jail for late child support payments? When I tell you we have it bad, and this shit needs to be the biggest reform for men is in this area: child support, divorce court. Let's continue.
He did a year bid.
1 year. Wow.
Just came home. Every time I was on the phone with him, all he ever wanted to do was to see his kids. Figure out how to pay child support and see his kids. That was his main goal when he came home. But the judge yesterday, when he had court, told him he had 25 days. 25 days to come up with $3,500, or he was getting a warrant for his arrest and going back to jail.
This is what's wild to me. How does a judge not look at the circumstances of that individual to know whether or not they're capable of getting that money to do in a 25-day period? Putting together $3,500 for the everyday person is not easy in the span of 30 days. In this case, it wasn't even a full 30. It was 25 days. It was already set up for the L. Dude was already set up to fail from the court. This is wild to me. How do they not take this into account? Do they not look at their work history? Where did they work? Were they even before this got into the situation where it is? What was their normal income level like? Why would they not base the child support amount on what their potential earnings are, based off their past income levels and potential earnings? It's not like this guy's gonna get maybe a 100K job tomorrow where then he can just pop out that 3,500. To me, that is just crazy.
You know what bothers me? That the government's giving out money to single parents, which I understand. We need it. But what about us parents? And I mean it, father and mothers that are on child support. We need fucking help too. I can't pay $1,000 a month in child support, which I am, and manage to pay my house, food in my mouth, and still provide for my kids when they ask daddy for something.
That's so true, and that's something that never gets talked about. A man can pay child support, whatever that monthly note is they got to pay, but when the child is with them, they're still paying. If they're with them on the weekends, every other weekend, over a summer, they're still paying the money to the other parent. And while the child is with the father, they're still paying for him in that moment. Food. Oh, daddy, I want this. Yo, dad, can I get that? Oh, dad, can we go here? Do this. This is a terrible burden on men that just is not fair. It's not fair.
That shit's hard, bro. And because of child support, which is stupid, my best friend took his fucking life. And I missed that fucking phone call when he tried calling me.
Damn, man, that's sad.
At 3-something this morning. Yo, us parents, all we really want is our kids.
It's true.
Yo, you know what I mean? Like me, I miss my kids, but I can't see my kids because of fucking child support. Because I can't make payments on time. So my baby moms keep my kids away from me.
Why? I really wish I could understand why women do this. If the father is not abusive to the children, is anything like that. And yes, I can admit and I can say, and to be 100% fair, if there's situations where there's violence involved, if whether it's emotional, physical, or the other parent, the father is a negligent, something to that effect, I can understand and would agree. Yes, as the mother, you might need to keep your children away from. But if none of that applies, and if the only vindication or if the only reason to justify why you won't let your kids see their father is because you don't like him, you're angry with him still, you hate him, you despise him, he did you wrong, you're fucking trash. You are from keeping your kids from their father. It's literally trash. It's toxic. And you're injecting your feelings into the equation when it should be about your kids and allowing them to see their parent that wants to be involved. Here's the key thing. The father that wants to be involved, that wants to have them. I mean, don't you want a break from the kids? Have another weekend free to yourself to go do whatever? Have some time off? But there are so many women out there that are so angry and vindictive and use their kids as a pawn against the man to pay him back for whatever they did to them. Listen, what happened in y'all relationship as two adults, it happens. It's unfortunate, whether he cheated or he didn't tend to your needs, whatever the reason is that you left him, doesn't justify you not letting him be a father to his children and keeping them hostage from him. Let's continue.
Long story short, bro, we struggling, bro. Like, this is real, bro. It's real.
I think it's pretty clear. You can hear the pain and the sadness in his voice as he shared this story about what happened to his friend, all because he was behind on child support, all because the courts put a ridiculous, unattainable, goal for him to turn in $3,500 within 25 days to catch him up on child support. That this man went to jail for child support. He didn't commit a crime. He didn't rob no one. He didn't use a gun. He didn't do any of these other things that we know would justify going to prison, going to jail. It was for not being able to being able to financially pay for his children. Did they take into account any kind of hardships that he's had? Maybe he had trouble finding work, keeping work, got laid off. There's so many factors that are involved in this. And the way our child support system handles it for men, if you don't pay, you go to jail. How does that resolve? How does that fix anything? How does that help the children? It certainly doesn't help the mother that needs financial assistance. So now you just lock him up. He can't contribute anything. Wouldn't $100 be better than no dollars? $200 better than nothing? Even if they were required to pay $500 or $1,000, even if, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. And this is an area where as men, we don't get a fair shake. And it's an area that I would love to see more conversations had about, more effort made to get reform in this area. You know, Dave Chappelle said it in one of his comedy specials, and they know he said it as a quasi joke. He said it as a quasi joke. And it was something to the effect that if a woman can decide whether or not to have a baby, that's their right, that's their choice, 100% agree, then as a man, we should have a choice to decide whether or not we're going to pay for it. And it was a funny joke, but like he was also serious, right? How is it that one person can choose whether or not to have a life, the other person doesn't have a say in it, but then we also don't have a say on the financial side of it too? It's a topic to discuss in a broader forum. I'm merely here to share this story and say that we as men, by and large, don't get fair shakes in the child support system. And this is a tragic result and proof of how broken it is and where it could lead down to. And it's a terrible thing to see, especially, again, I want to make sure I'm clear before any kind of someone comes in the comments trying to say otherwise or spin this around. I'm talking about fathers that want to be involved, that are attempting to be involved in their kid's life, that aren't abusive physically or verbally. They're good fathers and they want to be involved. Not talking about the ones that ghost the mother or ones that are abusive, that 100% need to be away from the kids, 100% screw them. They want to be involved. They want to be involved. But there are a large amount of men that want to be involved in their kid's life and can't because the mother is being vindictive and being spiteful and is doing everything they can, using the court system and the leverage that women get in this court to their advantage. That is a terrible thing and something that we need to see change. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.